watching Where Are They Now with your host, Dianne Hart. Now here's Dianne.
Good evening. Welcome to Where Are They Now? I'm your host, Dianne Hart, and this evening I have the awesome pleasure of interviewing a gentleman. He's a singer, a piano player, and an entrepreneur, Mr. Marvin Williams. How are you this evening?
All right, how are you doing? And thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So let's jump right in. Where are you from?
I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
I guess you can tell by my southern accent.
Born in Birmingham, Alabama. You attended all the schools in Birmingham, Alabama?
Yes, except for one. I attended a community college in Michigan, Wayne Community College, but all my previous education was here in Birmingham.
So is that how you ended up in Detroit?
I ended up in Detroit because I had a brother that was singing with the Temptations at the time. And he had always promised me a job growing up. So when I finished high school, I instantly went to Detroit to work for my brother.
And what did you do for your brother?
Well, a little bit of everything, such as assisting him in his everyday activities, things of that nature. Having his clothes measured and made for him, things of that nature. It's hard to confine what my job was because of all the duties I had.
Who was that brother?
Paul Williams.
And tell us a little bit about Paul.
Oh, well, Paul, he's my fourth oldest brother. Mm-hmm. I'm his seventh oldest brother. and we grew up in a singing family. My grandfather, which his name was Paul Williams as well, he was a singer and a choir director. And that's where my brother Paul and my uncles took up singing from. My father and my uncles was gospel singers as well.
So now let's talk a little bit about you. When did you start singing?
I started singing, I say, in probably 72. And I started singing with Beans Bowes. He was a famous road manager for Motown. And I joined his sons. We was called the Other Brothers Organization. So I performed with them for approximately 8 or 9 years. And directly after that, I started my own band with my brother and my nephews.
And what was the name of your band?
Spellbound.
Did you write any music for Spellbound?
No, we wasn't together long enough. We performed in local clubs and things of that nature. But we wasn't together long enough to really try to record anything.
So after Spellbound, then what did you do next?
After Spellbound, after those years, I sang with them. And pretty much when I attended Wayne Community College, I graduated from a few trade schools up there. And in hoping that I could open my own welding business, which I did at one time. And after that, then I moved back home, I say in probably 98. And then I started singing gospel music.
And where did that lead you to? You started singing gospel solo or with a group?
With the group. The group that I sang with, that I'm still with now, we've been together. Well, I've been with them about 35 years now. And we travel abroad. The Smithsonian Institute sent us to Paris, France a year because of the blind boys couldn't make it, so they sent us in their stead.
And what's that group?
The Inner City Singers of Birmingham.
And you all are still together and singing together today?
Yes, ma'am, we sure are.
So are you all touring now, or are you just singing locally? What are you doing right now?
No. Well, we tour quite a bit. It's very seldom that we are here at home, performing. It's always out of town. I like to say I've been to every state in the USA more than once. So, so pretty much I've been on the road most of my life since high school. traveling with my brother and traveling with my own group. And I also sang with two other groups. The other group is the New Ensley Jubilees. That was the name of my father's group, the Ensley Jubilees. And they sang on the local radio station here for over 60 years. So
Wow.
after they passed away, a couple of friends of mine, we started a group called the New Ensley Jubilees, which I'm currently with now as well.
So you're with two groups?
Well, I sang with a third group as well, but we don't, yeah. See,
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that third group.
okay, the third group I sang with is a group of females, and they're called Dot and the Silver Voices. Dot and the Silver Voices. Now, we are on the Gospel Hall of Fame here in the state of Alabama.
Oh, wow.
Dot in the Silver Voices. Hmm.
I want to know, how do you find time to sing with three groups?
Well, because the other two groups that I sang with, they don't travel at all. So it's usually I'm singing around here in the city. But on the weekends when I go with my group, the Inner City Singers, then I'm not with them. But they don't perform as much as I do with the Inner City Singers.
What about Dot and the Silver Voices? Do they travel?
No, they're a lot older than I am. They used to travel a lot, so they don't travel that much.
Oh,
There's a lot of local stuff that we do, yeah.
and you have been singing for how many years?
I've been singing since I was in the fifth grade, elementary school.
See, you didn't take me back to fifth grade.
No,
I asked you when you started singing. You told me out of high. So you've been singing since fifth grade.
yes.
What were you singing in fifth grade?
I was singing R&B. There's a funny thing about that too. It's a story I tell. Like when we started, I was in the fifth grade. My teacher would have my brother and Eddie come and practice us. So the group I sang with then, they used to come to school and rehearse with us.
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade. Fifth grade. The first group I ever sang with.
And what was the name of that group?
The Sputniks.
And you all literally were singing R&B.
The R&B, yeah. Yeah, Sam Cooke, all of those groups back then, yeah.
You had to be, what, about 10?
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah. But see, like I say, my family, my grandfather, my uncles, my dad, and a couple of my brothers were singers as well.
So you come out of a singing
I
family.
come from a singing family.
So you were born to sing.
I was born to do something. I
Sound
would
like
like
it
to
was
think
singing.
that I was.
I kind of think so. Tell me, what was the
Yes.
first time you did an actual paying gig that paid you to sing?
The first time I did, well, I would have to go back when, believe it or not, when I was in the fifth grade. I had a couple of
Uh-huh.
friends, and we used to go knock on the doors and tell the people we would sing for them for a price, and they would allow us to do it. So now, but big paying gigs, I didn't start till I moved to Detroit and started singing with the Other Brothers organization.
But the fact that you were singing and getting paid at 10 years old means that you were already an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You were a businessman at 10.
Yeah, at that time for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
How phenomenal. Okay, so now you get to Detroit. Did you start singing with your brother? Your brother, you didn't ever tell us what group he was singing with.
The Temptations.
The original Temptation.
The original Temptations.
I want to make sure people understand that
Yes, the
and remember
original.
that.
Yes, the original Temptation. When I first moved to Michigan, and it's a funny thing, my parents sent me up there to travel with my brother because during that time, my brother was ill,
Hmm.
and so he needed someone, close to him that was going to really take care of him. And so
Right.
that's when I started. Actually, before I started traveling with him, he made me get a job. And so I guess that's to prove to him that I would work. And so I started working at Chrysler in Michigan, in Detroit. And I worked there for about maybe 6 months. And then I had to start traveling with my brother. In fact, when I started traveling with my brother, that's just after Dennis Epwood had joined the group. David had left and Dennis Epwood had just gotten there.
So, were you ever the lead singer?
Well, I do some lead singing with the groups I'm with now. With the other brothers, I did lead singing a lot, quite a bit. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about who influenced you the most. We're going to start with the R&B because that's where you work, and then we're going to find out who influenced you in God. Well, for one, we know your family did because they were all singers. But who outside of your family influenced you in the R&B world?
Outside of my family, I would have to say Eddie Kendricks. Eddie Kendricks, he really encouraged me when I was in the 5th grade that I should really pursue it. Through his encouragement, I kept on singing.
And then, as you progressed, when did you decide you would no longer sing R&B and begin to sing gospel again?
Well, the funny thing about that, when I moved back home in '98, my parents had got very ill. And so I was taking care of my father because he was very sick with cancer. And so I would take my mother to church every Sunday morning, me not going myself, but I would take her. And so one Sunday I decided to go. And when I went and I was singing some of the congregational songs, and the preacher heard me singing. And he was one of the members of the inner city singers. And when he heard my voice, he asked me would I be interested in singing with the inner city singers. And I said, yeah, I'd be more than glad to. And that's where it started. Yeah, and I started with them I moved back to Birmingham in '89. And I started singing with the inner city singers in '91.
And it was on from there.
And it was on from there. Yeah, I must say, singing R&B and gospel music is two different genres. There's a whole different type of, the way you sing and things of that nature. And especially I was singing a cappella, so in some cases that's not easy to do.
I'm sure not.
Yeah.
I'm no singer, so I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
I can't hold a note.
Yeah.
Nobody in my family sings. Now, you have been singing, oh my God, forever.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what do you think was the most amazing thing that you've done when you were out singing, whether it was going to one of the foreign countries or singing. Where do you think you'll never ever forget a time, something that really sticks in your mind even today that you've done?
Well, there's a few things. Yeah, there's a few things. After traveling with my brother the way I did, I never thought that I would become a part of a group. In a lot of places and genres where my brother performed, I was able to perform there with my group. And I think that really, really, really did a lot to me. It gave me a sense of that I had arrived, as you would say.
Name one of those places for me that your brother had sang, and then you got an opportunity to sing there as well.
Well, the Apollo Theater, the gospel, and they got some other clubs that and hotels that where they performed. I was able to perform and live there.
What we're going to do is we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about that song, Jesus Cares.
Here's a song we love to do, and we hope you enjoy it. Jesus cares when I'm hurt,
You are watching Where Are They Now with your host, Dianne Hart. Now here's Dianne.
Welcome back to Where Are They Now? I'm your host, Dianne Hart, and tonight my special guest is Mr. Marvin Williams. What an awesome, awesome song. So let's talk a little bit about that song. What inspired that song?
Well, believe it or not, it's not a song of ours. It's a song by Luther Barnes. And the reason why I had such a desire to sing it because the title of it is Jesus Cares. And, you know, we always want to portray the love that Jesus has for us in spite of the turmoils and things that we may be going through. But Jesus still loves you. And that he loved you so much that he sent his only son, that whosoever believe in him should have everlasting life. But that's what encouraged me to do that song.
Wow, you did that song. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you would tell an up-and-coming entertainer or somebody in the industry. Give them a couple of nuggets on what you think it takes to survive like you have for all of these years. What is it that they need to do?
Well, first thing I would advise any young musician or entertainer to do is to pay attention to the business part of it. That's in some instances that's more important than you actually performing, because you don't want to perform for so many years and look down the road and find out that you have lost a tremendous amount of money, and then it's too late to recoup it in any way. And the next thing I would tell a young person is, if you have the desire, you dedicate yourself and sharpen your tools so that when that day do come for you to present yourself, you will be ready. And to all that has a desire to enter the show business or music business, is not easy. And so you make up in your mind and have that desire under any circumstances, you're going to keep going. And try to learn as much about what you're desiring to do. Try to learn as much about it as you can.
You got something else you want to impart?
Stay true to yourself.
So let me ask you this. How much rehearsing do you do?
I rehearse on Thursday nights and Tuesday nights, and some Saturday evenings. Now that's usually with the ladies I sing with, because actually they are so talented. You know, when we get together, it just happens automatically. So we don't rehearse as much as I do with the other groups that I sing with.
That's because they're ladies. And they're
Okay. Okay.
ladies. That's awesome. But you do a lot of rehearsing.
Well, yeah, when I traveled with my brother those years, I watched how they rehearsed, miss. And they used to rehearse like they was working in the plant for 16 hours. I'm serious. They really rehearsed hard, constantly. And that's what it takes to become the number one group in the world at one time.
It's true. Temptation's bad.
Oh, man. Yes.
I grew up on the Temptations.
Yeah, I know you probably did.
I love their music. They were phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, you know, they had been singing together since the late 50s.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. When Eddie, when my brother and Eddie first left home, they left home in like 1957 or 58. And I wasn't but 9 years old then.
You knew then that you wanted to pursue singing.
I think the singing that I did, it was kind of easy to me because, like I say, I grew up around it.
Right.
So learning different parts and things like that was pretty much instilled in me at a young age. And my brother Paul, he was a stickler for harmonies and singing to be right, and he didn't play about it, not at all.
He did not play.
He did. Anybody that know my brother, they know that he did not play when it came to singing.
Are you
Yeah.
promoting any shows currently?
Uh, uh, we just did a show about 2 weeks ago that we promoted, and that was with the New Ensley Jubilees. Any promoting that we would do would be right here in the city because we don't travel out of the city. Not yet, we haven't. We only been performing here in the city. So either we do it or the radio stations, the promoter would, promote it through radio and things of that nature.
So you all don't just sing in churches, you sing in other venues as well?
Other venues that's church affiliate.
Right. Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Wow. So let me ask you this. For your fans to be able to find you, what social media platforms can they find you on?
Well, would it be appropriate for me to say YouTube? We have about 12 or 15 videos on YouTube. The inner city singers of Birmingham, Alabama.
Are you all on Facebook too, or just on YouTube?
Yeah, we have some on Facebook as well.
What's your Facebook? How do people find you on Facebook?
Now that I don't know for sure.
Put your name in, and you'll probably.
Right, if you put my name in, it will pop up more than likely.
I found you on YouTube.
Okay then.
I didn't try Facebook, but I put your name into YouTube and I put gospel singer.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, but that'll probably work for them as well.
It very well might.
Yeah. I guess the way we travel and things like that, we don't have to do promotion for ourselves. It'd be mostly through the people who hire us. They will promote it. Like when we go to Tennessee or New York or Boston or California and things like that, whoever promoting, they do that, all the advertisement and things like that.
So are you still traveling a lot?
Yes. Not quite as much as I used to, but yes, I still do.
Do you have a manager that arranges all of that stuff for you?
Yes, we have a manager. Yeah, and he's been my manager for the 35 years that we've been together.
Tell us who he is.
Elijah Bush Sr. Elijah Bush Sr., a great singer himself. Great singer.
So has he ever sang with you before?
And he sang with us now. He's our manager as well as he sang with us as well.
See, now you didn't even tell me that.
Well, this is my first time doing an interview like this.
So I'm just pulling teeth, right?
Yeah, that's all you do. Just keep pulling the teeth.
No, I am so happy to have this opportunity to interview.
You may know of a guy, Thomas Lohman. He sang with me with the other brothers for about 8-9 years. He and I was together, yeah. And when I started my own group, he sit in with me then too, a couple of times. But Thomas is a very, very, very close and personal friend of mine. From the first day I met him, yeah.
Well, of course, Thomas gave me your number so that I
Oh,
could reach out to you. You do know that Thomas and I are getting married, right?
I sure do. I'm happy for him. Well, years ago, when we was younger, I always called him Pablo. That's all
Right.
anybody. But now I call him Thomas.
And
Yeah,
that's
yeah, I
okay.
call him Thomas. Yeah, yeah. Well, I know a
Yeah,
lot of people still probably call him Pablo,
they
but
do.
yeah, I call him Thomas.
He speaks very highly of you.
Oh man, I'm telling you, he and I just hit it off musically and even our journey through life. We've always stayed in contact with each other. He's always been encouraging to me, and I hope as well I did the same for him.
You did. Yes,
Yeah.
she talks very highly of you all the time. We're going to take another break. We'll talk a little bit about that song. It's called Glory Hallelujah.
Hello, Brooklyn. You know what? God's grace is sufficient for Marvin. Amen. It's a song we do back home. We say that the highest praise is glory hallelujah. It's an old song that we love to do, and we hope that you like it. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down, glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down, glory, glory. Put your hands together. Hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Well,
Where Are They Now? With your host, Dianne Hart. Now here's Dianne.
Welcome back to Where Are They Now? I'm your host, Dianne Hart, and tonight I have the awesome privilege of interviewing, and that is Mr. Marvin Williams. What a bad man who has sang both R&B and gospel, and he's currently singing gospel today. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. I'm so glad you have had me to do this interview. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You are so welcome. So let's talk about Glory Hallelujah.
Yeah, that's an old song we used to listen to when we was kids. In fact, it's a funny story. My grandmother she lived maybe about a block or so from our home. And whenever my mother or my father would spank me, the first thing I would do was run to my grandmother's house. And she already know why I'm there. And on a lot of occasions, she would sit me down and kind of rock me in the rocking chair and sang that song. And so when I started singing gospel music, I really wanted to sing that song. And of course, I added my flavor to it. And it's a good song for us.
Did your parents know you were going down to grandma's and get rocked for comfort?
Sometimes my mother would open the door so I could run on down. So you have to remember, it was 11 kids in my family. Yeah, and like I say, Paul was my fourth oldest, and I'm his seventh oldest. I forgot to bring up, I had a brother that sang on the RCA label as well.
Okay.
And he assumed the name that my brother them gave up. See, they was the Cavaliers. When Eddie and Paul was here in Birmingham, they were the Cavaliers. But when they moved to Detroit, of course, you heard the story, they changed their name to the Primes. And so when they changed their name to the Primes, my brother Johnny took the Cavalier name. And so they was on RCA Victor, the Cavaliers.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Cavaliers was a gospel group?
No, there's R&B group out of Detroit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how long did that group stay together? A long time?
Well, yeah, they had been together for some years. Yeah, and I think, they was together for some years. And you know how circumstances do some groups. Things come up and, you know, they eventually broke up. But they had been singing together for some years.
Glory Hallelujah is an awesome, awesome song. And I can see why your grandma sang it to you.
Yeah.
I can see why you would always go down there.
Yeah. It really brings back memories.
Well, you left Birmingham and went to Detroit.
Yes.
And you went back to Birmingham.
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes, I have quite a few children.
Okay. Do they sing?
Strangely enough, no, they don't. I have a couple that can sing, but they don't have a desire to sing.
So nobody's following in father's footsteps.
My nephews, I got quite a few nephews out there doing it. Of course, I have my oldest nephew. He's the lead guitarist for the Temptations.
What's his name?
Adrian Williams.
Well, you need to reach out to Adrian so I can interview him.
I sure will.
I'd love to interview him.
And I also, my nephew Paul Williams Jr. He sang with Dennis Epworth in the Temptation Review. So since the passing of Dennis Epworth, he has his own group, Paul Williams, the son of a Temptation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's based in Detroit. And I also have another nephew. His name is Paul Lucas Williams, and he has his own group there in Detroit.
Well, I need to know all of them so that I can make this full circle.
Yeah,
Interview each of them.
Yeah, they'd be more than glad to.
I would love.
And uh, Adrian and Paul Lucas Williams, I was the one that really spearheaded them to really get into the music business. My nephew Adrian, who plays with the Temptations now, he started out with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when he was about 15 years old. I
Wow.
caught a lot of flack from my brother taking him out on the road with me, but I
I'm,
took care of him.
I'm sure you did, and I'm sure he was happy to go on the road with you.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Well, since your children are not playing, at least all of your nephews
There
are
you go.
doing something. I'm
Yes.
surprised none of your kids are singing.
Yeah. I am too. I am too.
You're a little bit heartbroken that nobody's following in your
I
footsteps.
sure am. I sure am.
Nothing's wrong with that. Not a thing. We would all like to have our children doing something that we do or have done for sure. We love to have our kids
Yeah,
following
but I'm
steps.
just thankful they grown and God blessing them to live a good life.
Right.
So maybe
Wow.
some of my great grands will do it.
Maybe so. Do you have
Yeah.
any great grands?
Yeah, I have about six great grands. Yeah, I always thought you raise them till they get grown and they go on their own. That's not true.
Nope.
You be raising them kids to the day you gone.
That is the truth.
That is
They
the truth.
never go away.
They
I say the
never
same thing.
go away.
Dang, don't y'all get grown?
Nah.
But when we were kids growing up, they made us get grown, didn't they?
Well, they sure did. I got grown awful fast. When I finished high school and had to go to Detroit, I became grown on that bus before I got up there.
Not
Yeah.
these children. They never
Mm-mm.
grow up. Grown at some point?
Yeah, no goodness.
Yeah. So, what do you think has kept you in this space for all these years?
I know for a fact, sister, it was the grace of God. It was the grace of God because of the experiences that I experienced there in Detroit. Uh, growing up here in the South, there was a lot of things that I wasn't aware of. And I'm speaking about just life in common.
Right, right. Absolutely, absolutely.
And so when I moved up there, I had to learn on the fly. And that was one of the most challenging things to me, especially eventually getting in the music business and seeing how troublesome, being in the music business is. A lot of times you listen to the radio and watch TV, and it look like it's something easy to do. But believe me, it takes just as much work in that music business as it does if you working at a plant 8 hours a day. It takes the same will.
Well, obviously, it has been good to you and you've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes, yes, I'm still enjoying it.
I know that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, still enjoying it. Yeah, and I really, I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about Thomas, but he's played a very instrumental part in my desire, in my growing up in the music business. With me and him talking back and forth and the things that he's involved in, and he's even trying to get me involved in it, but by me being so far away and my genre is a little different than his, so but I wish him all the best. I
Hey, maybe
love him.
he'll play his harmonica on some of your gospel with you and your
Congas,
gospel.
he can play
Yep,
congas.
yep, he can. He told me.
Yeah. Well, he mentioned to me some months ago he planning on coming down here. So hopefully when he come, I can get him to sit in with us.
That'd be nice.
I know he would love to.
Oh, I'm sure he would. I'm sure
hmm
sure he
Yeah.
would. Well, I tell you what, It's been a phenomenal opportunity just to have this chance to talk to you so highly of you all the time. So I've been looking forward to getting this interview. I've been trying to connect. I'm like, Thomas, I know you can connect me.
Yeah. It's a funny thing. There's a lot of things by this being new to me. There's a lot of other interesting things I could talk about, but you
You can talk about this is strictly about you. You can tell me anything
well,
you want to talk about.
I think about when I was growing up. A lot of people don't know that it wasn't just Eddie and my brother that sang together. Eddie had three other brothers,
Mhm.
and his oldest brother and my oldest brother had a group together when they was younger, and that's what inspired Paul and Eddie to sing together. And after Paul and Eddie, Eddie's brother Clarence, he formed a group with my brother Johnny, the one I told you sang with RCA, with
Uh-huh.
Clarence Kendricks, he sang with them. So each one of Clarence's brothers, except one, sang with my brothers growing up. So in fact, they only lived about 5 houses from us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some of the other people that you have sang with. You sang with the Temps, the Temptations, with your brother.
No, I didn't sing with
You
them.
never got to sing with them.
Well, in rehearsal or something like that, but not on
Not on the
stage.
road.
Yeah, yeah. But
Well, that was
the group, the Inner City Singers, is a conglomerate of two ministers, and each minister has a son in the group at the time. And so it was six of us. And so we traveled years ago. We used to travel practically every weekend, but now it's going down tremendously. So every once in a while we may go here, travel to different cities of that nature.
hey, that's great. You want to tell me something else I don't know?
Yeah, my I didn't tell you that my fathers and my uncles, they had a group called the William Brothers. Not the ones that's singing now, but they was kids and they were the William Brothers. And my grandfather was their manager. And so they changed their name from the William Brothers to the Ensley Jubilees. Now Ensley is the area where we grew up at, of course.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they obtained that name. Yeah, and they was pretty famous here in the state of Alabama. Like when the big time groups come to town, my father's group would be on the show with them a lot.
Like Alabama Blind Boys.
Yeah, my father grew up singing with them. In fact, one of the blind boys, you don't know, uh, Dorothy Love. You heard the great Dorothy Love. Well, she had a brother named Willie Love, and he was a great gospel singer. He left the blind boys to sing with my father's group, the Ensley Jubilees. Yeah.
So you come from some famous stuff.
Yes, yes, you could say that. Yeah,
Yeah, you come from some famous stuff.
yeah. And
Absolutely.
you know when, like I say, Ball and Eddie, they left in the late 50s. But if far as really getting ahead in the music business, it wouldn't have been any way possible down here in Birmingham. That's why they had such a itch, to go up north somewhere to
Right,
continue their career. First they went to Cleveland,
right.
then they left Cleveland and went to Detroit. Hmm.
Wow. Well, I just want to thank you one more time for allowing me
Yeah.
this opportunity to
Well, I
pick
hope I
your
was some
brain.
help to you.
You were. I mean,
Yeah.
this show is really about you and what you've been doing and where you are today and just a little bit
Yes.
about your life and your family. So I'm sure that there's lots of people who don't know your journey.
Right, right. Well, I certainly thankful for you having me and having it desire to interview me. I really thankful. It makes me feel like my grandfather, my father, and my brother's work hasn't gone undone.
That's right.
And that I want more so than anything to never be my brothers and uncles and father never be forgotten.
They will live on in this industry forever.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah.
So, wow, how times fly. I hear that little music in my ear that tells me
All right.
it's about time for me to wrap up. Let me tell you where you can find me every Wednesday night on the Lit TV network on Tampa Bay TV. I'm going to actually have your show in Tampa on my Tampa Bay TV show called The Opening Statement. I come on every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on Roku. Roku is all over the world. That's every Wednesday night. And it's called The Opening Statement on Tampa Bay TV on the Lit TV network. On Thursday nights, which you will be up in the next week, you will be on Detroit Hot TV on Facebook every Thursday night at 7:30. Be sure to listen to Detroit Hot Radio. You do know that we have a gospel hour. We'll make sure that Thomas is playing some of your favorite music.
Okay then. Oh, that sounds like a winner to me.
Absolutely. I have a YouTube page. Listen, don't forget to go to my YouTube page. Is @Dianne Hart 2126. Like and subscribe, hit the bell, and every time I go live, you'll get a notice. But I'm going to send it to you in a text so you'll be able to listen to my shows.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Right on YouTube. I have probably about 30 shows on YouTube right now. And guess what? Yours will be also up on YouTube.
Oh, man, that's good.
I want to thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Maybe I'll get to come to Alabama with Thomas.
Oh, I hope so.
Absolutely will. Did you get my invitation?
Yes, I did.
All right. I expect to see you soon.
I don't think I'll make Jamaica, but all my love is with you.
All right, but you can get back to Detroit.
Yeah, now I can definitely do that. And thank you very much. And tell Thomas all the love. Tell him thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Detroit Hot Television on the cutting edge of urban internet TV.
It's a new day for Detroit radio. It's internet radio. Make sure you're streaming in your car. Terrestrial radio can't do what we do because we are setting a new standard in Detroit. The best Detroit artists are here, along with all your national favorites. The most music 24/7 by all your local favorites, like Anita Baker, Michael Henderson, Kim,
So how did you find your way back in
and the Dramatics. If they're from Detroit, they're heard here. This is where Detroit turns for R&B from yesterday and today.
24-karat magic in the air.
Detroit Hot Radio.
See, just because he's cheap, that don't mean throw the whole man away. As long as he's paying those bills, you better keep him and look the other way. All right? We fell in love way back in '83. I thought you was the one, boy. You swept me off my feet. The way I walked, you talked, and you asked to marry me. We began a life together, and you just spoiled me. But I knew something wasn't right. But since he paid my bills, I guess I'ma be alright. I know he's cheating, I know he cheat, but I don't really give a damn. No, I don't. I know he's cheating, I know he cheat, but I don't really give a damn. No, I don't. one night, ooh, smelling really sweet. He jumped in the shower, y'all, and jumped into the sheets. I rolled my back and turned, y'all, and went right off to sleep. Yeah, I really ain't got time for your lie. Well, I'm finna catch some sheep. Well, but I knew something wasn't right. But since he paid my bills, I guess I'ma be alright. I know he's cheating, I know he cheating, but I don't really give a damn. No, I don't. I know he's cheating, I know he cheating, but I don't really give a damn. No, I don't. I'm not gonna let him, I'm not gonna let him go, no. That's my man, and I love him for sure. I'm not gonna let him, I'm not gonna let him go, no. That's my man, and that's no joke. I'm not gonna let him, I'm not gonna let him go, no. He's my provider, and that's for sure. I'm not gonna let him, I'm not gonna let him go, no. I love my man, and that's no joke. I know he's cheating, I know he's cheating, but I don't really give a damn. No, I don't. I know he's cheating, I know he's cheating, but I don't really give a damn. No, no, I don't. I know he's cheating, he cheating on me, but I don't really give a damn. You have him all, he's cheating. Yes, I know he's cheating, but I don't really give a damn. No, I don't, y'all. See, every time he go out that door, I know he's coming back, cause he's paying the bills. And I'm gonna sit back and wait on him, cause that's my man. I ain't gonna let nobody get him. See, so you better think about what you're doing. You better think about what you're saying. Let him come on back home, so you can do your thing, alright? And I know he's gonna come back.